Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview of an upcoming cooperative game, Alpha Team Mechanized Battle Force Go! And as always, I take no money from publishers, I just show you crowdfunding games to help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So Alpha Team Mechanized Battle Force Go, it's quite a name, is for 2 to 5 players. Again, it is fully cooperative, and it is a drafting game, somewhat a la Seven Wonders, for example. But it's a drafting boss battler in that the players are drafting cards to defend against boss attacks and also to attack the boss themselves. And to be clear, there is no true solo mode for this one because there is hidden information in the cards that you are drawing and drafting from. I'm going to sort of fake my way through a 3-player playthrough here, trying to pretend that I don't know what the cards are that are being taken by each person, just to show you how the game works. But at least at this point, as far as I know, there is no true solo mode planned. But how the game works is you pick a boss. They sent me 4 in the prototype. I'm going to show you one of the easiest ones, Volcanic. And the bosses each have their own special mechanics. In Volcanic's case, it's pretty simple. They just put these 2 extremely dangerous eruption cards into the deck, because the deck you are drafting from is going to be a combination of cards from the boss and from the characters. And it says, if an eruption does damage to the city, you lose the game. Because one way to lose is you've got this city with, right now there's a prototype with just these wooden cubes, and there are 10 of them, and if the city takes damage, because whenever you don't keep a damage card for your robots, as you'll see in a second, your big mechs, then it goes to the city. And if 10 damage is dealt to the city, you lose. But with Volcanic, if a single eruption card does damage to the city, you also lose. The win condition is also related to the boss. They start out with an amount of health based on the number of players. With 3 characters, they have 40 health. So each of these larger cubes is 5, and these single ones are 1. And if I can blow him up and survive until the end of the round, then I win. Now, additionally, each player is controlling what's called a growl, GRWL. I forget what the acronym is there. And they each have their own unique deck of 7 cards. And these are also going to get shuffled into the communal drafting deck. So the yellow growl is going to give cards to the other players as well as themselves, because everybody's drafting from the same pool, that will be based on their own strengths and weaknesses. And each growl has a special power. In the case of the yellow growl, it's a special delivery. I can give 1 card I haven't used yet to another player after all the drafting is done. And each growl also has an energy ability that fires off if you get at least 2 cards that join together to form a battery. If you see that right there, in their drafting. And in this case, if I get at least 1 battery, I can use the jump kick ability to discard a card from the city, which is pretty dang good if it's an eruption, because that would stop us from automatically losing the game. So the yellow growl is all about energy. That's their biggest strength. The blue growl gets to take a card from the discard pile for free. That's going to be a couple of cards that are not used at all, because each of us has 7 cards. The boss has 2 cards, but only 7 are dealt in the initial hand. So 2 cards with this boss are not used. And his biggest strength is adding defense, which will block enemy attacks. When he gets a battery, he can select a player, and all of their blue cards, because remember, he does not have to draft blue cards, they can each draft each other's cards, will receive +1 block. And finally, the red growl, who is the most attack-oriented of all of them. He has the running hot ability, which gives a growl... I have these reversed, don't I? He has the running hot ability that gives a growl card +1 attack. That's what the targeting reticule is. And with energy, he has critical hit, which gives +1 to each growl card that he holds that already is dealing at least 1 damage. And let's talk about the cards. So some of them have defensive icons, like this card here, and some of them have attack icons. So you'll see that even our friendly cards that are in our own starting decks have some of these. And these cancel each other out. So here, this is trying to deal 2 damage. This is blocking 2 damage. If we had these, we would suffer no damage. But any uncanceled damage takes away life from your growl. Each one starts with 6, just like it would damage the city. And just like losing the city makes you lose, if any growl gets destroyed, you also lose. You don't want to take too much damage, but you don't want to send too much of it to the city either. And then you've got cards that give attack. This is going to actually deal damage to the boss. And then a ton of cards have special powers that interact with all of those kind of things. But the biggest part I've been leaving out is how the drafting works. So I'm going to shuffle all these together in a second. Each player is going to get a 7-card hand, but how the game works, the really clever part about it, is that you can only access the card on the leftmost or rightmost side of your drafting hand. You can't change the order of the cards. So I'm not only thinking what I want to take for myself, but I'm also paying attention because I'm about to pass the cards on to the next player, just like other drafting games. I'm also thinking what I'm unlocking for them, because just like in Seven Wonders, you're each going to put your card down, and when everybody's picked their card, you flip them all face up, and maybe like I'll see that the next player already has a ton of attacks from the enemies. Maybe I'll take one just to keep some heat off of them. So a lot of interesting cooperation in the game because of that. Also, some cards combo together in special ways. But let's jump right in and show you how everything works. It's a pretty straightforward game. And we'll see if we can survive. Again, this is the easiest boss, so hopefully, but anything's possible. So I'm going to deal a 7-card hand to each of the growls. Again, if this is not a solo game, I'm just kind of pretending there's a solo mode here so I can show it off. And the 2 remaining cards go to a face-down discard pile. We're not going to look at that right now, although, again, the blue growl can interact with it later. And we're now going to have 6 rounds of drafting where we take a card and pass it to the next player, take a card, pass it to the next player. And then the final card, because you have a 7-card hand, but only 6 drafts, the final card from each player goes to the city. None of the things matter, none of the special powers, none of the icons, except for enemy damage icons, like sending them a defense. They can't use it. They're not giant robots. And I'm just going to pretend I don't know what the other players are doing. So let's see. I can take a dodge, a defense with a battery half, or the first eruption for yellow. Well, they're going to take a dodge, I think. And red, turbo jets give you +1 attack and defense for every fully complete battery. Or, yuck, I can take a weapon malfunction, which is 1 damage and reduces my total attack by 2, which is kind of a bummer when red has all these ways to increase their attack. But I feel like turbo jets might be better. Okay, we'll take one for the team and take that. And then blue can get, double the total attack of 1 card. Amazing ability. Or power of the pack, +1 attack for each player who took 2 or more red cards. Well, I don't really know about it. Oh, yeah. These are all like kind of slightly mismatched, aren't they? Okay, I'll take target scanner for blue. And I just want to note that all this would be happening simultaneously. So what you're about to see takes 3 times as long as an actual game would take, because I'm going to be showing you each decision. Okay, so each of these piles will get passed on. All right, in yellow, can get a laser sword. So each of the growls has a laser sword card, and it says if each player has a laser sword, the laser swords get +2. So if we can all activate our laser swords at the same time, they become 9 damage in this case instead of 3. Now, you can't always have a laser sword in the discard pile by bad luck. It's hard to tell if that's going to happen. What else do I have? So I've got the +1 for each player with 2 or more red cards. And actually, I see that all of us picked a red card last time, so that's pretty good. Or they can take a laser sword. Let's see, either one is going to open up some attacking, but sure, they'll take a laser sword, I guess. And blue, what do you want, blue? They don't have any batteries yet. They could take some attack. There's another eruption. We could send 1 eruption to the city and then have yellow jump kick it, but clearly we can't send both. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? I can see what other cards people has played. I don't see the laser sword yet, technically, but I would have seen as the blue player that yellow already got 1/2 of a battery. So let's go ahead and say that I would pick the other one to help him out. Or wait, what am I talking about? The opposite of that. Let's say that I would take this so that they can pick that one in a second. Okay, and then red, if he has 4 more defense, he gets an attack, and it's 1 attack, but his card's already going to cancel a bunch of attack, or he can just take an eruption. I do see a laser sword, though, so unlocking a laser sword, we'll take an eruption. I don't know if that's a good idea. Okay, we reveal everything. So red's in major danger. We need to make sure that some blue defense cards get funneled to him. Although remember, yellow can send 1 card he hasn't used to another player, so that could also help. The turbo jets are kind of a waste on blue unless I get them at least 1 battery, so definitely want to try to do that. So let's start with blue. They can get a laser sword. We see that yellow already got one, so we want to get it. That would also open up a dodge for somebody else. 4 more defense. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen because they're not even getting attacked yet. So yeah, they'll grab their laser sword. Yellow. Right. They see that they were sent this. They already have 1 defense to block it. So sure, they'll lock in having a battery to fire off their jump kick. What's red going to do? You must have 2 batteries to surge, so it just makes this cost 2 instead of 1. Also, just a note, even if you got 2 batteries, you cannot fire off this ability double time. Generally speaking, extra batteries are wasted. Okay, there's +1 for every player with 2 red, and I already see that I would have 2 red and they would have 2 red, so that would cancel out the minus. So sure. I mean, I definitely don't want to take another attack since red's already in a bad place. All right, coming back to red. We see the last laser sword, but I don't think it's going to get around to him in time. Ooh, but if yellow takes it, they can pass it to him. But he's definitely going to get the dodge to try to survive this insanity. Blue, wants some batteries, if that's even possible, which... Okay, sure, take half a battery there. Not sure if that'll get finished. And yellow... could get a dodge, although might not want to steal the battery possibilities if you have +4 defense. Well, no, you know what? He'd probably rather save the defense for red. He sees what a bad position they're in. Okay, we'll just stick with yellow for this next one. There's a double shield, but they really want to pass that to red, but they'll open it up either way. Now, they don't want to have 2 batteries to surge. That'd be terrible, so they'll take this one. Okay, red can take the dodge. Although they see that blue can get their surge if they don't take it. Reduce their defense by 1 and another attack. I think they would die, though. Sorry, blue. There you go. Well, maybe if we're lucky, blue will get... They don't want to take the laser sword. Oh, God, they got to take the other eruption? Oh, but the whole plan was for us to send the eruption to the city. Yeah, so this kind of ruins a lot of stuff I wanted to do, but we'll take another laser sword for blue. And blue's last card. Ugh. Okay, so they can't finish off a battery no matter what. This one reduces their shields by 1, but they don't have any shields, so I guess... it's not that bad, and they'll send 2 damage to the city. You know, it's funny. I think I'm actually making worse decisions playing this solo because I'm having to keep track of too many things. Okay, so we want to send the eruption to the city and then use their jump kick. So they'll take Sparky, that big cannon. And then red, you're in such a sad, sad place. Yeah, we'll definitely take the Guardian Shield for them. Okay, so usually it's pretty straightforward, but for abilities, they have little timing things. They're really small icons. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. So there's like a little gear icon that's sort of utility powers. Then you suffer enemy damage, but then you use defense to block it, and then you do attack powers. So first, do we have any utility powers we're going to do anything with? So yellow could send a card to another player. Ooh, they can finish off blue's unfinished battery. So which of these 2 do they want to send? Blue's taking more damage than... Oh, no, never mind. They were going to send a defense, but blue's got this reduced defense by 1, so it would be basically wasted. Oh, no, I guess it wouldn't, because Turbojets is also going to give them a defense. Okay, so yeah, they'll send the dodge to blue. Or you know what? We can hold off on that. We can see what blue gets with Dig In first. So they can take... These are from the discard. Either an inverse reverter, which would not help them get their battery finish at all, or a prehensile tail. If any player has more blue cards than you, you get +2 defense. Unfortunately, they have all the blue cards. So these are really basically identical. We'll take the tail, I guess. Okay, and then with that, I think they're not going to send the defense anymore. They'll send the reverse inverter. Okay, since yellow got their battery, they're going to use their jump kick to discard 1 card from the city so we don't automatically lose. City's still going to take 3 damage, but so be it. And that's it for blue phase powers. So now damage happens. So the city gets blown up for 3 from these 3 icons that are left. And again, we're ignoring the powers on these cards. And then we see how much we get blown up. So yellow's getting attack for 2 and has 1, so they take 1 damage. Blue, they have a lot of cards. Hold on. They're getting attack for 3. They have a battery, which will let them select a player, and all their blue cards have +1 defense. Got to decide if I'm going to do that for blue or red. So they're getting -1 defense. They aren't getting the extra from this one, so those cancel out. But they get +1 defense from having a complete battery, and +1 attack for turbojets. So they're only taking 2 damage. I think we can deal with that. Which means for their battery power, they will power up red's blue cards. Each of their blue cards gets +1 defense. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defense, which is good because they take 1 damage from weapon malfunction and 3 +1 for each player who does not have an eruption. So by putting it on the city and then jump kicking, we actually hurt ourselves more. So that's 5. 1 + 5 is 6, which we fully cancel with our boost from blue. Nice job. Okay, finally we get to attack. So red can give any growl card +1. Attack, so I don't know, we'll say power of the pack. And then this one's getting +1 for each player with 2 or more red cards, which is all of us. So that is a 3 +1 4 attack. No battery to use its critical hit. -2, so that's only 2 damage from red, because he didn't get a laser sword, really sucks. So 2 damage, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, because this one has the battery bonus, 4 damage, and we can double one of them, which is really a bummer. Ideally, red wants to get the target scanner, because they can use their give a growl card +1 and then double it, and especially if it's something like a laser sword, you can like get to 8 damage with one card, which would be great. But here we're just doubling a 1 to a 2, so 5 from blue, 2 from red, 7 damage. And yellow is providing another 1, 2, 3, 4 more, 11 damage, which is not too bad. We knocked the boss down to, what is that, 29 out of 40. And then we would shuffle things up and go again. Nobody got below half health, although blue did get pretty beat up. The city took 3 damage, and I think we'd be in a pretty decent spot to win. Again, this is the easiest boss, but I'm going to stop there because it's a little bit silly to play through this simultaneous cooperative game, talking through each turn. You've seen the basics of how the game works. So what do I think about this one? I very much enjoy the cooperative take on drafting. Because as you saw, it is really interesting to consider, what do I need? What combos can I build? But also, what options am I leaving for the next player? What have they already played? Now, you don't get much table talk because obviously there is limited communication. You're not allowed to be like, hey, would you rather have a 1 blue with a right battery? You know, you can't say that kind of stuff. So you have to pay attention to what's been played, make gut decisions, take one for the team, and sacrifice sometimes. I find all of that really fun. And because it's simultaneous, it is lightning quick. I've played this with 4, 3, and 2 players. Have not played with a full complement of 5 yet, but at all player counts, it just moves along really quickly. And it's a lot of fun. I also think the boss variety is quite fun. They each have different cards, each have different mechanics. Like Abominable, you are basically playing hot potato with a bomb, passing it around to different people, or eventually throwing it to the city. Lots of fun choices in that one. And I think they said in the final version is going to be 6 bosses, 8 bosses. So a whole bunch, double what I got in the prototype. The growls are also pretty different. There are 5 in the prototype they were sent. Now, this is where one of my small concerns is. I don't think they're very well balanced. For example, Yellow's jump kick is unbelievably strong against some bosses, whereas Purple's main ability, take 1 exclamation point card, those are like the boss's main attack cards, from a player or the city, we've found we don't use it sometimes in entire games. Now, it is very boss dependent, like some matchups of some growls make some bosses way easier or way harder, which is how these things are going to go sometimes. But I do wish there was a bit more consistency, specifically in the green and purple, more complicated growls. I find them just a little bit harder to use well, and when I've taught people the game, they haven't had as much fun with these ones. Whereas yellow, blue, and red, they're always pretty cool. Now, additionally, I'll note that at certain player counts and with certain bosses and with certain mech combos, we found the game unflinchingly tight. Like, if we make one wrong move in one direction or another, we die a horrible death. And really, it's come down in many cases to whether we're playing with yellow or not, because being able to discard an entire card from the city is an absurd power. So I think the balance still needs some work. I mean, the game's in prototype. I don't think they're done, but I hope they continue to look at that stuff, because I think right now, you know, again, some combinations, some growls, particularly yellow, are just going to make the game that much easier, and I'd rather things be a little bit more balanced. And also, I would love them to have more difficulty modes, because yes, some of the bosses are easier and harder, but it'd be cool if I like a certain boss that's super tough to have some way to make the game a little bit nicer so I can play against them, like give the city more life, give us more life, anything like that. And finally, not really a complaint, but just something to be aware of, the powers are pretty straightforward, even on the more complicated growls like the purple and green one. There's nothing like earth-shattering, no combos that are absolutely insane. So if you're coming for like really deep card play, I don't think this is the game for you. This is definitely more like family weight, casual gamer kind of stuff, which is great. I've been able to teach it to tons of people and they've all had a good time with it. It plays incredibly fast. The simultaneous nature is awesome. Lots of cooperation. But yeah, if you're looking for something incredibly tactical and strategic, then this might not quite fit the bill. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. That is my preview of Alpha Team Mechanized Battle Force Go. It should be live soon or today, depending on when I publish this. Go check it out and see if you like what you see. Thanks for watching, everybody, and a special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, KCW, Andrew R., and Chris C. We'll see you at the next stop.